The National Consumer Commission says it is clamping down on suppliers of non-compliant foods. This includes expired goods, foods with no labeling, no visible pricing, and no receipts. We will speak now to Prudence Moilwa, Head of Complaints and Investigations at the National Consumer Commission. A very good afternoon to you, Prudence. Thanks very much for your time. We continue, of course, to hear of these stories of people who are, or sellers who are non-compliant. Tell us how you are clamping down on this phenomenon.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you very much. I think the National Consumer Commission has taken it upon itself to just make sure that consumers are kept safe in the marketplace. So what we do is that we conduct nationwide inspections of outlets just to make sure that there is compliance with the Consumer Protection Act. This is a proactive stance that we take wherein we go and inspect the stores. And then when we find that there is non-compliance, we then come back with a full-on investigation and then thereafter issue compliance notices.
Where you are, I mean, does the system, perhaps is the question, ensure that people are easily detected? In other words, you don't have to come with teams of people, inspect the place, and if you're lucky, unlucky for those who get caught, and then you discover when you're there that is there a way that the system is structured such that it is able to, so to speak, spit the wrongdoers out even before you get to descend on them?
Yes, indeed, because I think because now we've made them, on an ongoing basis to continue with this. So at all given times, we have the environmental health practitioners on the ground from the municipalities who are supposed to then on a daily basis ensure this. But because of limited capacity, we then, as the National Consumer Commission, together with the police and some provincial stakeholders, we then go into the stores to make sure that there is compliance. I must say, because the first visit that we do during market monitoring, we then have this engagement with the shop owners or the retailers to then say, this is non-compliant. If you do not display prices, you sell goods that have expired, you also do not give receipts and stuff like that. We do have those engagements. And then when we come back with a full-on investigation, the expectation is that, they will then comply. Unfortunately, the ones that we've issued with compliance notices now are the ones where we found that there was somewhat still non-compliance in their stores. I must also say that there's also some where we found that they have indeed complied. So the inspections are proving to actually ensure that there is incremental compliance. We would like, obviously, to have full-scale compliance by the retailers all over South Africa. But obviously, from the enforcement perspective, these inspections are very important to make sure that consumers are not only kept safe, but they're treated fairly in the marketplace.
Albeit so many deaths later, especially children's death, what would you say that ever since we've had, one, more visibility by way of inspectors and other officials, and two, on the ground, would you say that the situation has improved?
We think so. I think incrementally we will get to a point where government interventions, as you know, with the spaza shop fund that is meant to assist the spaza shops, but also now in the peri-urban areas, everybody has to comply with the Consumer Protection Act and make sure that consumers are kept safe. I must also say that the focus on Northwest in the past 2 months was as a result of some of the incidents that were reported in the Northwest, even though they were found not to be associated with the practices by suppliers. But I think it also brings into play suppliers to be conscious of the fact that what can then happen is that consumers' lives will be put at risk if they do not comply. You can imagine with the level of non-compliance around the safety of food or even expired food to a point where when you visibly look at the food, it doesn't look like it is ready for consumption. And we also know that sometimes because consumers are pressed for, budgets and stuff like that, they might end up taking such food because at certain instances they're sold at a cheaper price. They might also be found, to be consuming food that is unsafe. So that is why, from the implementation perspective, we think that the proactive actions by government entities in partnership with the police and the National Consumer Commission are actually, starting to bear fruit, wherein we are starting to see incrementally that they are complying. So those that still remain non-compliant are the ones where we go with the enforcement action. I must also state that together with the compliance notices, there are some that we intend to prosecute on the basis of the wide scale, want-on non-compliance on the issues, even after we visited them for the first time.
Prudence Moilwa, let me thank you very much for your time. She's the head of complaints and investigations at the National Consumer Commission.